So for the past few days, we have started some, I think, mainly two sessions about React, which is maps, and then also looking at browser router or React router DOM, npm package. But we haven't really looked so much on the fact that React has a lot, so we need to sort of probably start from where it all begins from. I don't know whether you can see, but yeah, today I'm going to go to React sessions. Okay, I think I have here, so let me open my VS Code. Yes, and I can simply drag React sessions to VS Code. So if anyone has some implementations, we had Manjeroni telling us that today he'll be showcasing his progress. So hopefully we can have a look at what he's doing or what he has done. Yeah, and then we continue. I want to increase this size. I think let me just have it like this. So hopefully everything is visible. So to better understand React and where we are going, we can start with so this is session 3. I think let's take it as session 3. So session 3 hopefully. Yeah. So we can start with having create a new folder, maybe my HTML. So we can start by having just an HTML, my web HTML, an HTML website. And yes, in this we are going to have index.html. So index.html. This will be recorded, and I think by the end of today, the past 2 sessions will be uploaded. You can revisit and look at how maps were implemented, because in the coming sessions we shall be adding on to that implementation. So here, if I can start. The HTML starts with doc type, and then we have the opening HTML tag, which are also closing. So we have the head and the body, as we've seen. So if here I say, let me say h1, my first web page, okay, something like that. So as we said, you can have here the title and metadata in the head, and then other components like navbar, first website, like the navigation bar in the body, and navigation bar and the content of the website. Much so what a visitor of your website will see goes in the body. Alright, so metadata is used in search engine optimization and making your website easily visible or easily synced by Google. Yeah, I don't know if I have a big font. I think if I reduce it to this size, it is still visible. There is this thing which and content becomes, I think that is visible, like very sharp. Okay. So we have link. So we said link relationship style sheet. Here I'm going to say main.css. So main.css. I think we had the recap of this like from morning. So, and in here in my website I'll have the main dot CSS. And yeah, in this, if I'm to sort of design my body, I'll say body. So this star means designing the entire website. You can have it as margin 0 and padding 0, or yeah, some pixels away from a margin, so padding and 0. And then you can have the body. So for the body, so wherever you're going to design a tag, you just have to write the tag name. It could be head, it could be h1. The tags are those that are within angle brackets, so the opening tag and the closing tag. So there are some other tags like br, which, okay, so let me say I have a paragraph here, and let me just auto generate. So in this, I would say maybe I want to have this is still much. Okay, so let me say between this and this I want to have a breaking point, so I can have the BR tag. So the BR tag doesn't have a closing, yeah, it is just one tag, doesn't have opening or closing tag. So in case I want to access anything like a tag, maybe the P, I'll have to access it by just writing. So here I can say probably background color, and give it some color that is maybe gray, yeah, grain spot, so something that is not so white but appealing to the eyes. So, and we also say that if I want to, we are saying and also we are saying that if I want to access a class name, so let me say I have a class here, a heading, yes, good. So for me to access this class or to edit a first word, I can say a dot heading, and I'll say probably text align center, color dark slate. I can also say font size, yeah, 50 font weight bold. Okay, let me stop there. And so if I want also to edit, the P tag, I can have an ID here of a paragraph. So accessing the P tag will give me hash paragraph, and then I can have yeah, just a few things. So if I'm to run this now website, I can usually go live, or I can go and start the index.html in that file. So let me just click go live. Excuse me. Cutting out. Okay, so I think going live is not a solution, so I can stop this port. And yeah, let me go into the file itself. So React sessions and session 3, my web HTML. So if I do index.html and open with probably I can use Google Chrome or Brave. So let me open it with Brave. Yes, we can have such kind of a website. I can have so let me just have padding yeah, 16 px, and see yeah, so I have some yeah, so this has been edited like how it looks. So you see here we have the breaking point from elite. So let me just put BR so everywhere, so that we have something a bit organized, and yeah, I think that's fine. So we are all in the same place up to this point. Okay, I think I can, there is no one here. Oh, um, so let me share my screen. Ronnie, I didn't know that you are here, so I really didn't share my screen. Yeah, sorry about that. So this is what we have been on. So we've created session 3 and we said we want to look at designing of our website. So we've started from a point which everyone is familiar with, and what we have done is simply create an HTML page, so with the head and then the body, and we said for us to access the tags, for example body h1p, we just write the tag name, and then we write the CSS or the design that we would want that to have. And we also looked at accessing class names. So we want to access class headings. We shall have the dot notation. So dot heading, and this heading is the class name here. I hope I am visible. Ron, I hope I'm audible. I'm not looking at you. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, am I audible? And do you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen and you are audible.
Okay, thank you so much. So yes, so we also looked at main.css, and yeah, we've been saying if you want to access an ID, if in such a case we have this ID paragraph, you use the hash. Okay, so we are at that point. And then from here we are going to go to, in case I want to add like JavaScript. So one of the things of JavaScript is that it does not run automatically in the browser, but can run in the command line. So for me, for example, if I want to have JavaScript, I can have this. So main.js. So let me say this is the way I link to my JavaScript, and this is the way I link to the CSS. So I'll go on and create the main.js. Okay, thank you. So yeah, I'm too speedy. I think I was too speedy because I wanted Manje to catch up, but I locked in. Sorry about that. So yes, script and main.js. So main, when this is the way, so you have to write script src main.js, or the name of the JavaScript file that you would want to access to. So within this JavaScript file, we want to do one thing, probably want to do an alert. Alert. So if you don't know what an alert is one of the JavaScript syntax used to bring up like sort of a window on a screen. My main aim here is to take us through the way how things link up together. So almost every aspect we have touched on needs time, but knowing that from here to here this is how things come up makes everything very easy. So HTML could need some time, CSS, yes, some time to know how to style things, and then JavaScript costs a lot of time because there is a lot of concepts depending on what you want to do. So let me try to run this, save and then refresh. So when we refresh, we have this pop-up. I don't know whether it is a pop-up. What is this? Yeah, so this thing that says welcome to my website, this is the JavaScript that has been implemented. It will always show that thing, and then when you press OK, it disappears. So this shows that even our JavaScript is working. You could have other things like prompting a user to maybe put login or do something. So that's it about it. Now, excuse me. Now from here, we are going to take it a step further. So you can also have scenarios where you have like you have your JavaScript working. For you, maybe you are having some things that you are automating, or like just JavaScript files. Yeah, let me just write my JavaScript. So you can have like JavaScript as a run alone language. So maybe I have index.js. So for you to have really JavaScript working, you should have Node.js installed. And to check whether you have Node.js installed, you come in your terminal or in your command prompt and you click Node, I think -v, and to show you the version of Node.js that you have that is installed. If you don't have, you go online, search for Node.js, yeah, and then you can download and install it, Node.js. So this, yeah, and then install it in your computer. All right. So here you can have things like console.log. So what console.log does is just to print something on your terminal, not in the browser. So, and the way we invite a Node.js app is we do node, the name of the file, index.js. So this is all done in our terminal. Cannot find module index.js. So, and the reason why I'm receiving this error is because my terminal is in sessions, but when we look closely, this is in session 3, and then in the my JavaScript folder. So for me to enter into session 3, my JavaScript folder, have to see this session 3. Am I still very quick? So we are in session 3, and if I say ls, if you're on Windows, you can say dir to see the directories, have my web HTML and my JavaScript. So I want to go into my JavaScript, and if I want to go back, I do cd, then double dot or 2 dots. Yes, so my JavaScript, and yes, I'm in my JavaScript. So here I can now run node, the name, so the name is index.js, and then to print hello world. So I don't know if I try to put an alert, let me see, an alert, here we are. It's been a great journey. I don't know what this will happen, or whether it will open, but I'm going to try it. So save, and then I say node index.js. So yeah, it has this because we are running JavaScript in the terminal. Okay, so there are many things you can do in the terminal, but this alert must show up in the browser. I wanted also to try it and see what it does, so at least. So if I just save and then rerun node index.js, I'll have, yeah, hello world still printing in the terminal. So today's aim is not to mainly look at the JavaScript, but to go somewhere. So everything we have touched on is actually a huge topic that you need to immerse yourself into, or you need to go take time, get a friend, get someone who knows it, and then learn it faster, do work, yeah. But the reason we started from there is so that everyone can be on the same page of where we are going. Any questions up to that point? So since there are no questions, I can proceed. So we see that JavaScript can kind of stand alone in some time, but there is, if you want to do like backend applications, because JavaScript is used so much to interact with the backend and the front end as well. It is an interactive language. It might not be the main purpose, but for this I think it can be used in that. So we can go into creating a backend application using Node.js and Express. And how does that come about? So if you want to have this backend sort of housed into a container of which it can operate in, we usually do npm init y. So init, we initialize an npm sort of package where we receive a file called package.json, which can house many dependencies, JavaScript library dependencies, that all together can come up with something. Okay, so for that I'm going to go back one step and be in Pro3 where I have these folders. So here I can write mkdir to create a directory. Let me go here and then add a folder. Yeah, and the folder is going to be called Node.js my backend app. Okay, so I want to when I say ls to list all the folders, I see my backend app, and I can change my directory into my backend app. So once in my backend app, for me to create sort of that container, I will have npm init, which stands for npm initialized. So if I just say init, it will bring up these questions. So use npm install afterwards a package and save it as a dependency. Package name my backend app, and I can press enter. Version 1, I can press enter. Description, yes, my first node app. I think yes doesn't make any sense, but this is my first node app, and entry point is index.js, test command, git repository, keywords, I can just say author Kakuza, license, and is this okay? So they are showing me that the things that are entailed in my package.json. I can just say enter, and yes, so a file called package.json is created in my backend app. So when I click downwards, I see package.json. Now this package.json is really keeping all the variables that I would need as I'm developing my backend app. So we are going to just have a very basic backend application. So we said here the entry point, which is main, is index.js. You can as well, just for you not to have these continuations that prompt you, you can also just keep using npm init -y. So -y means that take every question for a yes, -yes. So you can see the author here, the name, the description, the main. So main is index.js. So in my backend app, let me create a new file called app.js. So this is a JavaScript file, and in this JavaScript file I can as well run console or something. But now this backend app, I want it to be doing something, probably talk to my database, but that's very far. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to install two libraries, two npm packages, so that we can convert this. Because if I say, for example, node, let me say console.log. It's amazing to have a backend application so if I come here and I run node app.js, it will show me this. But now if I want to run what is in my package.json, I have my main as index.js. So for this, I'm going to change this to app.js as my main. Yeah. So changing this into probably something that is worth working, I'm going to install new 2 or more packages. So here I can say npm. This is very tiny. I don't know why this. Whenever I connect this thing, it becomes tiny. So only this. Let me type here npm express package. Yes. Ronnie, do you have a question? Oh, I am audible now.
Hello.
Sorry, you had to say it. I'd forgotten to put you back. Sorry about that. I think now I'm audible.
Yes, it's fine. I was speaking, but this part of Express, I'm not familiar with it, so I had to speak up.
Okay. I'm going slowly through it. Just follow along. As you've seen, what we have done is we've started a package.json by the command npm init -y, and then from there, we had our JavaScript file called app.js to ensure that we can stand a backend app. The essence of this is just to show you the journey of how these things come to be. Probably everything we are talking about is a full lesson, so it also helps you. For example, if you are at HTML, you can know what you need to do next. If you are somewhere in React, you can know, oh, I missed this, so it's okay to not know about the backend, but I just want to use it to go to something else. So yeah, I'm just going to create a Node.js application, just that is doing something very obvious. So as I was saying, yeah, we can come to our Express. So here Express has something. It shows you how to start an Express application. One is you have to install Express, so by npm I express, and that's the good thing with the package.json, that gives you this ability to install other packages. So I'll come here and put npm I express, and yeah. So after installing Express, another file called package-lock.json is created. Package.json also gets the Express dependency, and yes, so our application is growing from simply an HTML. So as we come here, there's a showcasing of how HTML, how Express, Node.js Express apps work. So this is a basic, a basic function of starting a server. So when you read up here, installation, this Node.js feature robust, focusing on high performance. So you can go quick start. The quickest way to get started with Express is to choose the executable Express. Yeah. So then view the website at localhost. So you're viewing sort of a backend website. Yes. So I want to add that code in here. I can simply put this downwards. Please, if I'm fast, if you need to take a rest, sort of, you can let me know. So I copy this code. It is just a basic code. So yeah, I want to start a server. So app.listen at 3000. So this we import the Express package from the Express that we installed. So we create an instance of Express. I'm just an instance of this imported Express package, and we call it this Express, and then we use this instance to fetch from our Node.js, our app. Yes, so we are going to be having a server listening at port 3000. Okay. So here, if I again run node app.js, I have all this, but you see my servers remain, sort of my terminals remain hanging, meaning that it is listening. Of course, you can add other parameters so that you get maybe probably a reading here that will show that it is listening. But if I go and listen on port, if I put in this, since we're on localhost, if I put in HTTP localhost 3000, I get this word hello world. And where does the hello world come from? It is a response that we get from our server wherever we visit the first sort of just the initial like endpoint. So, and this is it. So if I have, for example, I put another endpoint and say get host, and here I say response post. So if I save this and just save it and come here and say slash post, so we shall see cannot get. And who could be knowing the reason? So we've created a new endpoint. So this is post, a new endpoint called post, and then posts, let me say, are here. So initially, when we have this endpoint using this app, and we say get just from the original URL from just localhost 3000, we get the hello world. But once with this second endpoint, which is post/post, so we hope to get these words as a return, that is successful. So, but when I say slash post, I don't get anything. What could be the issue?
Maybe the endpoint is wrong.
So,
Answers
so maybe the endpoint is wrong. So the issue is that once you've started your server, it will remain at that instance, so it doesn't refresh. It will just keep listening. So I have to just restart by first terminating with Ctrl+C, and then I run node app.js again. So here, if I refresh, I'll get posts here. So sometimes in development, for you to avoid such behavior, you can install something called NodeMon, which is called node monitoring. Yeah, for that. And you can also have as many, you can change this. For example, I can say listen to 5173. And yeah, I think probably I can, let me just say, console.log. Yes, listening. So this is simply to, it's a callback function. I've just added it to simply let us know that, you know, it is listening from, like, our service is running perfectly from that using our terminal. So probably I can also, let me just add that, not app.js. So here now we have, it's amazing to have a backend application, which is this console. And also we see that it's listening on port, so meaning that now when we load port 3000, since we've changed the port, we don't get any response. But once we load port 5173 or slash or nothing, we get the hello world. Now, I can also load this in any browser. So localhost 5173, we get hello world. And even when we change the endpoint to post, was it post? Yes, posts are here. Okay. So today our aim is not to look at back end, but to see how we come to where we want to be. So let me do cd to go back one more step. And what we are going to do, what we are going to do is to create a React application. So we've seen that with package.json, it can simply collect all the libraries that we need to create a more application. Now, JavaScript goes on, due to its interactivity and swiftness, is used to create this. I don't think it's a framework. I think it is it a library? React. So yeah, it goes on to create this framework kind of structure called React. And how do you create a React app? So you can create a React app initially for the framework using either Vite or React, or we can use other frameworks such as Next.js. So today we are going to be looking at Vite. So if I go to here and I say create a Vite application, you will see that there is a docs for getting started. So if I click on this, down below there will be this command, npm create Vite at latest. So if I copy it, and I'm just, when I say ls, I'm just in this session 3 where there is a bunch of folders. So we have my backend, my JavaScript, my HTML. So I can say my React too. Yeah, okay. So session 3. So if I paste the command npm create vite at latest and press enter, it will start to create for me a Vite application. So project name, my Vite React, my Vite Reacting. So my Vite Reacting, and then you can use to choose a framework. There is vanilla, so that means that it will be using pure JavaScript. There is Vue, React, so we want to use React, P-React, Lit, Svelte, Solid, and more. So we are going to use React, and then select a variant. Do you want to have TypeScript? So it has type safety and type checking. TypeScript plus SWC. JavaScript, we are going to use JavaScript. React Router v7, so we are just going to have JavaScript. After creating that, we shall see that we have another folder. So if I say ls or dir on Windows, I have my Vite Reacting. So I want to change into that folder. My Vite Reacting, and when I look at now this folder, it comes with a bunch of things. So, but here as I was installing, it told me done, now run, cd, npm install, and npm run dev. So what I'll do is I'll first run npm install, and this is how we create a React application with Vite. So, okay, I think we can give it time to install. As it is installing, no, let it install for now. Any questions or any feedback? Yes? So my project is taking longer than expected. So since it is taking long, I think it has installed. I've seen some changes like around here. Yes, so it has installed. But you see when you look close to here in my Vite Reacting, you see node modules folder, public folder, src, .gitignore, ESLint, config, index.html, packagelock.json, and package.json. So the reason we passed on just making node apps is we wanted to get familiar with package.json. When you come, this package.json looks a bit familiar with a node package app. Here we have name, and we have more variables. So we have script, where we have dev, Vite build, and lint, something preview. Yeah, so dependencies, we have React 19, React DOM 19, and yeah, dev dependencies. So we have a package.json. But actually, what's the entry point of this application? One thing to know about React application is they finally compile into an index HTML app. That's why our entry is this. So you see that when I'm in this HTML, it is familiar with the HTML that we've been having. So you have the head and the body. So it is this body where we are calling main.jsx. And what we need to know about React application, they have the .jsx file, which is a mixture of HTML and JavaScript. And yeah, sometimes this can be JS, but in React, mostly with Vite, we use .jsx a lot. So it means that our body, what happened is we have this div called root. Sometimes when you look at index.css, so if I go in SRC and look at index.css, you see we have this root thing. Yeah, I think let me first stop it there. Or up.css, we have this hash root. So it's an ID that is gotten from index.js, which is outside, which is in my Vite Reacting, but outside of those folders. So it is here in index.html. So some starting CSS is worked on here. Here we have the metadata. Also, sometimes if you want to change the logo of your application and the title of your application, you touch that. So let me first run npm run dev as instructed. So my application has started at localhost 5173. I think now this is very familiar. It is kind of like a Node.js app, but it is a front-end framework. So that's why if I need to run the application, I have to go and put in the browser localhost 5173, and then to show me the front page of my application. If I can increase the count or something. Any questions up to that point? Are we still on the road? Manuel, are we still on? Jemima, are you on the road?
Yeah.
Are you on the road? Okay. All right. So yeah, that is it up to now, up to there. So assist me with my book. So now we see that actually our front pane is an injected main.jsx, so it's an injected script. And when we go and look into our application, it is src main.jsx. So it is inside here src main.jsx is our entry point to the application. And what does main.jsx do? It simply imports a component which is app. So this app is gotten from app.jsx, and app.jsx, this is the display of our front page. So whatever we see here is what has been programmed into the app.jsx. So I think now we can see a correlation from having an HTML or from learning HTML to React. So there is literally no skill that goes to waste. Okay, so now we know a bit of React. So most of what you're going to do, the components you're going to create, things you're going to do are going to be in the SRC folder, because your application starts in this SRC folder. If you didn't create the SRC folder, I think now it will be outside out there. So the public has the Vite, has the SVG logo, but yeah, you could change it as we saw in the index. And we have the node modules. Where do the node modules come? So wherever you install the packages, package in the package.json, whenever you say npm install, it will create the node modules folder, which will contain many of the node modules. So now we can simply delete most of this. I can have an H1. So for these React applications, they are component based. That means that you should always, in your return, your application should always fit into one angle bracket. So let me say I have, let me remove this here. So let me say I have a div here, and then I say yes, we are on. And then I create another div here. As soon as I create anything outside of that single div, it will return an error. So you should always put all your entire component in one sort of div or in one sort of tag. So these div are HTML tags. So you can have divs, or you can choose to have nothing, because you always have that one opening and closing tags. But whether you have it as a div or nothing, it will still work. So let me just say H1. My first React app. If I save and I run node, what was I running? npm run dev. It will show my first React app. And you'll be asking, why is it showing in the middle? It is showing in the middle because of CSS. And where is that CSS? I'm not seeing it in my app here. Maybe it wouldn't have been showing. Let me remove this. And why is it still showing from the middle? The reason is because there is some CSS that is automatically in index.css, which is linked to main. That what I'm saying, that this index.html is linked to main.jsx, which main.jsx has also some linking strict mode, and this get element by id root. So this root has a CSS, yeah, and then it manifests itself within the app, because app is also in the root. So sometimes you just need to go and edit what is in index.css and app.css. So for this, we are going to just look at the body. I usually remove the body for study purposes in index.css, and in app.css. Let me draw with the root. So if I make just those changes and I go back to my application, you see that the positions are changing. But there is one thing. For you to access so this is H1. Let me say this is a div. This is a div. If I save, so I have my first React app.css. So for me to access the CSS that is already in in, for example, app.css, have to link to that file name. So the y-axis class, I can say class name. I say class name. Remember, in index, when we are accessing classes, we are writing div class. So class name app. But since I have nothing imported here, it might not appear. So I will import, and this is how we import. So you import if it is in the same folder. So you find out that app is in the same folder, app.jsx is in the same folder as app.css here. But the issue is these CSS files are not shown. So you have to just put it in the same folder. When you see assets and main, that means that they're in the same folder as app.css, and import your app.css. So this was being imported differently in our index file, where we had to import it in the head. Yeah. So that means that in app.css, there should be a class. To access this class, we use the dot class name, so dot app, which will make changes to this app. So if I save and I refresh, there is no changes to app because that class may not be there. So if I got app.css and I look closely, there is no app. So I can add here the class called dot app, and then text align center, I give it a color dark gray, font size and font weight bold, and I save. So after saving, if I go back, I see so this is dark gray on my computer. I can make this probably violet or red. Red can be visible. Oof. Seems to be so visible, also vivid. You see? So we are using all the skills we have to do what we do. And also this helps in teams. So if you're given a job, for example, you're a front-end engineer, you can easily know what exactly is needed of you. Is it interfaces? What is the back-end team telling you? Like you have the walkthrough of the projects. You may not know exactly what they need, but you know what is needed of you based on the team. To some teams, being a front-end engineer is doing APIs and the screen, the interface. To some teams, it is only the interface, and maybe to some teams, it is just receiving data from their APIs. Yeah, so that is it. Probably you can easily blend in a Web2 team that needs someone, maybe a back-end engineer. You come in when you already know that back-end, I need to be knowing Node.js and Express and how to do those things. Yeah, so you may not know them, but you would know what exactly you need to learn and to become good. You can also help like in teams where you can, for example, decide that each one specializes on something, so that you can create products that are standard and that people can use. Okay, so we've done, maybe let me leave this, Control Z, I can leave it at that. So we've done access to the class names. But one of the downside, it is not a downside, but one of the issues with CSS is that it is really time consuming. For those effects I did to take effect, had to write all these 4 lines of code, and I'll keep writing those codes, and I have to also edit for every device. As you can see here at media, so almost every device, small device, phone, tab, and computer, you have to write the CSS for it, for your website or for your web app. So what has the community come up with? So the community has come up with, I can say, design components for designing, libraries, design libraries such as Material UI. So what does Material UI do? What's the time? 1810. Okay, so Material UI is simply already made components that you can put in your website. For example, you would want to create your website quickly. Maybe you need the buttons already made. You go to Material UI. You can search Material UI. Import it, and then play around, get what you want to add to your website. The downside of Material UI is that it is not so flexible, like if you want to change things to look the way you look. And in this time, we need to have that flexibility so that you can quickly make the change that is required and fast, and to the test that is required or the test that you want. So the other best design, like sort of, they're called design frameworks, I don't know, is Tailwind CSS. Yeah, so with Tailwind CSS, this is Material UI, and you see this is npm install. So you install it like this, and then you start using their components. And why am I even talking about this? Sometimes you'll ask ChatGPT and then to return to you components that are written in Material UI. For you to understand that ChatGPT installed for you Material UI, you come and look whether you have installation, whether you have something at MUI/material in your package.json. So by that you already know that, okay, most of the components that I'm using in my app are written using Material UI. Probably since I cannot leave it alone, or I cannot afford now using another design framework, let me quickly go through it and see how to at least customize this for my own sake. Yeah. So the other library is Tailwind CSS. So yes, Tailwind CSS, on the other hand, comes with a power that you can customize many things. It is just CSS that has been placed into one sort of class that does something that is of benefit. So somebody can say, for example, for this, if you want to design this, check availability, and yeah, they are showing you different ways they are designing, theme colors, and yeah, this is their front page. So what we can do is you can see this button. So when you just write this thing, px-4, it really creates a CSS sort of class with all those things that make that a reality. So you could also be flexible with it. But what I wanted from Tailwind CSS is to go to the docs. So docs, documentation. So the way to install Tailwind CSS is with this mechanism. So Tailwind CSS had a previous flow of installation, which you'll find in most of the tutorials that you're going to watch. But there is a new way that came with Tailwind v4, and also there is a way they phased out support for other versions, because the file, which is tailwind.config.js, no longer comes when you install, for example, Tailwind version 3.4. So this is the new way to install Tailwind CSS. When you go to the documentation, under installation, there is using Vite, using Post CSS, Tailwind CLI, framework guide. So when you click on framework guide, you can get guides for Next.js, Laravel, Next, Angular, and many of these. But we are interested in Vite for today. So you go to the terminal and install Tailwind CSS. Hey Ronnie, are we still together? Okay, that's good. How about everyone else? Okay, so Tailwind CSS has been installed. Once it is installed, you can see in our app called My Vite Reacting. So where you write npm run dev, there should be also the package.json. So you should check whether in npm Vite Reacting there is package.json. We have gotten this Vite config.js. So in the instructions, the one is install, then configure the Vite plugin, add the Tailwind Vite. So we are going to import this here, and then inside the plugins square brackets, we are going to add the Tailwind CSS object. So inside these square brackets, okay, we are going to add in the Tailwind object. And the third is import. So before, for example, let me say if I use one of the Tailwind CSS attributes here in my app.jsx, have a lot of files here, and instead of class name per app, and I say class name 3xl. So where am I? Okay, I've not yet done this third part. So in Tailwind CSS, you can have this as class name. When I go to my app, and refresh, does not show up. I think I'm not yet running it. npm run dev, refresh. You see, there is no, it has not taken effect. Has it? Font dash weight, font dashboard. No, this font dashboard is text dash 3xl. Let me see. So it hasn't yet taken part, like taken, it does not show. So I still have to finish the configuration settings, and the last one is to, where is Tailwind CSS? The last one is add this import in CSS. I think this can be added in app.css or index.css. I choose to put it in index.css because I think it is the main root like of the entire thing, so that the Tailwind.css takes root, and immediately I put it and save, and then if I go back to the application, you see that Tailwind CSS has increased these words, and now we are designing using Tailwind CSS. When you look very close up here, we have the logo and then the name, the title. and we saw where to change the logo and the title in the index of the React app. Okay. So now Tailwind CSS has taken root, like is working. How fast could we develop our application? So there are teams that have created things that have been recreated for so long. So you could quickly bootstrap your front end app, or yeah. Okay. I think there are ways you can quickly bootstrap your front end app by just copying their Tailwind and then make changes. So one of my, not my favorite, one of them is ShadCN. So ShadCN. So yeah, ShadCN builds components, and the good thing with it is that when you import a component, it comes with its Tailwind, so you can quickly change the looks. So if you need a name, this thing, if you need anything, you can just come to ShadCN, then go to docs and Vite. So to show you installation, you go to Vite and follow to install, and then you can just say I need an accordion, I need this component, I need an alert. Let me click on alert after installation. So it will show you that if you need, for example, this alert, you just come here, now install the alert and copy and import this alert, use it here. So example, then you have this, like this alert will result into this. You can choose to have carousel, like carousel, that means that you have things that are moving, and after installing, you just come install now the carousel, which will bring all the components of the carousel, import this, and then have a carousel like this. Then they give you an example. So it's in itself, everything is already like done. You just import what you need, and then you can put your components together. So with that, whether you need a form, so with that, you keep focusing on the logic of your application, and yeah, quickly do what you want to do. So people usually use ShadCN, and I encourage like every one of us to read through it. There is another one called Daisy UI. I've seen many using it. Unfortunately, I've not used it for some time. It has pre-built sort of Tailwind components, so you can come how to use and then use their components so that you can quickly bootstrap your front end. The other favorite one I have is HyperUI. So this one I got about it when I was doing some tutorial, and what HyperUI has is I think I can use it. So it has fewer things, but they are really helpful. So it has alerts, checkbox, badges, breadcrumbs, buttons. So let me click on button and actually go with the button. The good thing with this one is you usually don't have to import anything. So you can view. So this is all Tailwind CSS. So if you practice Tailwind CSS enough, so I can say probably let me copy it. You can view and then view code and then copy. Or also, so this is the button, the way the button is going to look like. Dark will look like this. So yeah, you can view, come to copy and copy the code, then take it in my app and paste and save. And then I go to So, and then the button is already here. Okay, so maybe I can go for another thing. Hyper UI. I would want to have sort of a side menu, text area, cards, buttons, and also this can teach you like Tailwind CSS. So let me say cards. Yeah, this is like a card. You can view the Tailwind CSS and see, okay, they started with a tag. Maybe I can change this to a link. Like you see the div, you copy. So LTR, I don't know what it means. I usually come here, copy. You can change to code to what you are viewing. You can view it on large, on small device, on mobile device, on medium. Like very quick way to bootstrap. Come here. I think I've written the button. So maybe probably down here or before the button. So here you can, for example, to push words away from the wall, you can have like, maybe let me say, so div, can put here div. So class name px-4. Yeah, so px is a Tailwind CSS that will have all this padding, inline, curly, -4. So the reason I put that is because this button was very close to the wall. Let me just put localhost. Yeah, it was very close here. I think I cannot just put p -4. So I want my content to be within here, to have this space up and here. So I'm going to, before the button, I'm going to paste the other code. Oh. Where was I? Hyper UI, where is it? Where is Hyper UI? It is here. What had I clicked on? So announcement, banners. So yeah, actually we have a banner. So this banner is good. Copy the banner and paste here, save. And you see, so and now localhost looks like this already with just the copied code, the banner, and edit, view, delete. And this banner is responsive. You can now choose to change the colors that quick. So here are the colors in. You can also, should I give us a break? Yeah, so you can now choose to change things. I think I can remove the span. This span is starting from where? Let me reduce it a bit. I can remove this entire thing for the button. You can choose to delete or just, and then you have started your web page with this. So you can say welcome to C3. you have the banner. So since you don't need probably those colors, you could change them around here, I guess so. um, Let me see, increase. I think hopefully violet is there. I don't know which colors you use, but yeah, you can change things from there, and also this by just copying, the banner, and you can keep going to your Daisy UI, but you can also get the opportunity to learn those things. So I go back to, it is not Daisy, it is Hyper UI. Probably I may not know what I want, some grids. Yeah, that's how the grid, so you can copy the different one you want. You can go back to the banner and see the different ones that are there. I didn't know that you'll find them. Product collection. You see, you can find this sort of look, this look, and if you want to put it to your page, pagination, down where you have these pages. We had block cards, okay, banner. So banner, this is what we had. You may want this, you may want this, or any. This one, I think this one is a good one to start from. Yeah, so copy and probably let me just paste here up to line 72. And yeah, so this is our website for now. So yeah, I think that's all we have for today. I think that's really enough. So that's a good start for you to start playing around with Tailwind CSS. I encourage that you actually take time, develop projects from YouTube as you're writing this Tailwind CSS. There are some things like Flex Dash Row, Flex Auto, things that you get used to, that you will always see and appreciate, and also you'll get used to how Tailwind CSS works. So for example, if we are to look here, we have a background dash white LG. So LG, that means that starting from large, we shall have grid to any other screen. So background dash white, we shall have a grid view, and LG dash H screen. So this means that starting from the large screen upwards, or if the last pixels of a screen are large screen, that means that for the large screens, place the content in the center, and for others, just leave the content the way it is. Yeah, so you need to practice, and yeah, I think you'll be good. Thank you so much. Have a great time. Any questions? Ronnie, what's up? We need your project.
Nothing much. I was just for
You are just for
a project. Project Yaj.
During the project weeks.
Oh,
Hey,
what I was doing.
you had some AI output, not so much automation 0.dev. I think that's the main thing you taught us.
Our internet yali ensumbuwa, but I wanted to show you what I had done.
You should.
But the things are on GitHub. I pushed them on GitHub.
Okay, Kuanga, the other one you showed us, interface was good, but there was no functionality. Relevance, the wali. Otherwise, yeah, how are you? Osekerede.
Yeah. I'm here trying to, but this session was actually very good. I wish we started like this. We started with a lot of pressure, but it was also good because now it removed the fear because you used to emphasize removing the fear.
Mm.
But if we started like this, this makes a lot of sense. Like we see from step one how everything proceeds up to the. It was very good.
Okay. Yeah, we shall see.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's keep building. Yeah, have a great time. Like everyone has said hi. You are the main guy online.
So everyone is on site.
Yeah, on site. Sometimes we have internet issues, so you know, like today, we just used one machine and a projector.
Okay.
All right.
But I'm winding up here with my semester. I may visit you in those the last days of the cohort.
All right. All right. You're always welcome.
Yeah. I'm just winding up here something small.
All right. All right. Great. Great. Have a great time, and yeah, see you.